Get ready to work with the world's best drywall lift, the Panellift brand drywall lift from Paragon Pro Manufacturing Solutions. First things first. This is your average Joe. When working with sheet goods overhead, your average Joe always wears a hard hat and safety glasses. Nice job, average Joe. Let's get down to it. The Panellift comes in 5 easy-to-assemble parts. The tripod base, the frame housing, the winch handle, a set of cross arms, and the cradle assembly. Luckily, there's only one way to assemble a Panellift, and that's from the ground up. It all starts with the tripod base. Press the slide yoke release, and slide the yoke up the center leg of the base until the pin catches and locks. Make sure to put the backstop into the down position once the base is open. This will help to keep the base from moving when the frame housing is placed on it in the next step. And honestly, you'll look a lot cooler and be a whole lot safer if you aren't chasing the base around the floor. Next, take the frame housing and place it on the tripod base. Make sure the angle on the base goes up into the slot on the frame housing, and that the front edge of the frame housing rests behind the mounting guide at the base of the tripod. Once the frame housing is properly seated, you'll need to move the winch post away from the frame. The winch wheel has a built-in braking system that slows your roll and safely keeps your sheet good in the elevated position when in use. Lift up on the red-handled brake arm and allow the winch to roll down into the open position. When the bolt is in the groove, turn it clockwise and lock the winch wheel in place. Doesn't that feel nice? The winch wheel is going to be a lot easier to operate with a handle attached. Start the threads of the handle into the winch wheel by hand, and then use an 11/16 open-ended wrench to tighten it securely on the winch wheel. Thanks for staying with us. We promise assembly is almost complete. There are just a couple more steps. Take the latch hook out of the lock position on the telescoping section, get your cradle assembly, and place the pin in the hole at the top of the frame housing. Round pin, round hole. It's pretty straightforward. For the last part of the assembly, take your cross arms and slide them into the flat triangle mounts on the cradle. Be sure to slide them in until the clip locks in place. And that's it. Seriously, your Panellift is ready to use, which coincidentally is what the next part of this video is all about. Let's mount a sheet of drywall to the ceiling. You'll want to do a safety inspection of the drywall lift before you load the drywall onto it. Check that the casters are in good working order. Inspect the cable and make sure that there aren't any frays or worn spots. Finally, make sure the unit is properly assembled and all components fit securely together. The Panellift will hold a 12x4 sheet of drywall and can lift a maximum weight of 150 pounds, roughly half the size of a VW Bug. Pull the outrigger release pin on the cradle and extend the outrigger to the width appropriate for the size sheet you're mounting. The pull pin will lock into place at varying intervals on the outrigger depending on how big a sheet you're mounting. Next, release the mounting head tilt latch on the cradle. Tilt the cradle to the vertical position and put the latch back into its locked position. This will ensure that the latch locks the mounting head into the horizontal position once your sheet is loaded and you tilt the cradle back to level. Now, open up the support hooks and check to make sure that the backstop on the tripod is down. This will stabilize the lift while you're loading it. Load the drywall face down onto the cradle, resting the edge on the support hooks. Tilt the sheet back to the horizontal position, release the support hooks to their resting position. Check that the tilt latch is secure and lift the backstop onto the tripod. Go ahead, put your back into it, Average Joe. Move the panel lift into position under the location where you want to hang your sheet. And turn the winch wheel clockwise, lifting the sheet firmly to the ceiling. Finally, go get your ladder. Get up there and start securing your sheet. Once you have a few screws around the perimeter of the sheet, you may move the unit out and secure the rest of your screws. That's it. The Average Joe has done above average work. The wall mounting process is much the same as the ceiling mounting process. In fact, we may use some of the same footage. Make sure your backstop is down for stability. No need for outriggers this time though. Just load your sheet face down with the cradle in the vertical position, lift the backstop, and move the lift into position on the wall. Once you found your spot, put the backstop down and crank the winch wheel, lifting the sheet into position. Let's take a moment to watch as Average Joe catches up with the rest of this voiceover. When you've reached your mounting height, tilt the top edge of the sheet up against the wall and start putting in screws around the edges to secure the sheet. Once there are some support screws in, move the lift away from the wall and secure your board the rest of the way. Stellar work, Average Joe. Now, you're a training video hero. Please visit our website, www.paragonpromfg.com, for the complete product manual, including assembly and safety instructions.